What if I told you that you were the bringer of the end times? That you were the summoner of the end of the world, the collapse of society as we know it? What if all of that power was inside of you? Is that triggering? Maybe. Welcome, this is Akate's Torch, your guide back to your own inner light. I'm Taya, and today we're going to be talking about the conspiracy to rule all conspiracies. I want to say that I was very deep in conspiracy theories at one point. I basically knew all of them. The thing about me, though, is that I have always been one to question things. And what happens when a conspiracy theorist who questions modern society also starts to then question the conspiracy theories that they believed to be true? Well, what happened for me was I started to question those theories, and I started to question why these theories that used to be so hush hush before were suddenly becoming so well known and out in the public eye. That was when I started to realize that conspiracy theories themselves were also another part of the plot. What is this plot? This plot is convincing and storytelling to the masses to believe that the end of the world is coming, the end of society, that there are all these horrible things going on, whether they are true or not, these horrible things, and you know what I'm talking about, whether they are true or not. I believe that they have all been constructed so that you, with your divine self, um, believes all of these horrible stories and that the world is ending, the society is collapsing, so that you believe it and so that you create it. Because what many, many people don't know, okay, I'm going to say that, I'm going to use that line this time because it's kind of true. What many people don't know is that we all create our own realities with our beliefs. This is Future Taya here. I just want to say sorry about this crappy freaking mic. I want to curse so bad, but I'm trying not to for YouTube. Sorry about this crappy mic. I'm getting a better one. Okay, it's coming. Anyways, please forgive the horrible audio quality, but it's better than this echoey room. So, toodaloo. I was recently re-inspired to talk about this because I downloaded Instagram this evening to be able to message my friend who lives in Germany, and that's the only way I can get in contact with her. And I scrolled a few reels, and on the third or fourth reel, it was a video, a guy talking about how he goes up to this stranger and asks her if she's prepared for doomsday, if she has her water, cords of wood, toilet paper, solar panels, or anything like that. And it's a joking video, right? But it's supposed to be this thing that we all know of. The end times are coming, that we're supposed to be prepared for the collapse of society. Every time I go on Instagram, slowly, I don't know about you guys, but for me, slowly more and more of this stuff, doomsday horror stuff, just starts to seep into my feed. The feed, right? Where they're feeding these stories that we're being fed because our beliefs are generating our realities. So every time I go onto Instagram, it's horrible, right? It gets progressively more and more horrible. And what is happening is I am being trained and indoctrinated with these beliefs that the world is collapsing and that we are just heading for a crap storm and that I should be very scared and very afraid. And there's so many horrible things out there. Those are the beliefs that I'm being programmed with, so that is the world that we create. Why would we want to create a world like that? Why would that be something that someone is motivated to do? Well, because in that world we are powerless. We forget that we are all God ourselves. If you think, I'm going to give you a visual of our divineness. If you think of the world as a flat plane, beneath it are the fingers of God, and there's billions of these fingers, and in each of us, they're one of these fingers. Okay, I'm so out of pocket, you guys. There's one of these fingers in each of us, and we're all like, We're all God moving around, okay? And so we are very powerful when we are aware of our divinity, of this power of creation that each of us has. When we are powerless, though, we forget our divinity. We think that we are at the whim of life, then that leaves room for the people who know of our divinity to be in control. And you know what? There I don't know what they want to get out of that, because you could just create heaven on earth and everyone could be happy. So don't ask me about that part. I can't tell you that. I don't know. I don't know about that. But what I do know is that there is what I believe to be intentionally a plot, a plan to seed powerlessness, fear, and etc., into the minds of the collective. Because collectively we are creating this reality. Individually, we create our own realities. Collectively, we see the world around us with our beliefs. What we see out there is a reflection of the collective belief. All this discord we're seeing, right? A reflection of within us. The news, the media, all of that they are just proponents into convincing us of our powerlessness and to feed us horrible things. And so that you see, oh, there's horrible things going on in this place. There's horrible things going on in this place, this place, this place. Oh my God, everywhere is horrible. Everything is just going to shiz. And that's what we start to believe. And so we just end up creating more of that, unfortunately, until we realize how our beliefs are creating our reality. No one get offended, please, because I'm not saying that the whole world is your fault. We were born and raised in a world and conditioned into a state of powerlessness and not knowing our divinity. So it is no one's fault. You don't need to feel like you need to bear the weight of the world on your shoulders, because it's just all you need to do is focus on yourself, grow yourself, work on your beliefs, and you will start to see that reflected in the outside world, locally, globally, with time. But please do not feel like I am saying that this is your fault, that the world looks the way it does. And if you're unconscious of this, there's no way you could have known, right? Majority of the world doesn't know this. But when we become conscious of it, however, that is when we can accept responsibility for changing our internal worlds and looking within so that we can reshape the external world. I'm going to get a little esoteric here, as if this whole video wasn't esoteric. I actually don't know the definition of esoteric, but I'm assuming that it applies here. So I'm about to get real esoteric. So in Christianity, Jesus, right? He's known as the Son of God. And what he teaches everyone else is that everyone is a son of God. Everyone is a son and daughter of God. We are all children of God. We all have the capabilities to embody our divinity, our godliness. At the same time, if that is true, we are also all capable of embodying the Antichrist, the Messiah, opponent to Jesus or whatever, who comes at the end times. It is a consciousness. Both Jesus and the Antichrist, both God and the devil, they are a state of consciousness. We have the ability to embody either one. Devil, Antichrist, whatever, looks like powerlessness, looks like deceit, looks like fear, guilt, shame, sin, all of that. Jesus and God looks like truth, forgiveness, understanding, love, acceptance, all of those things. Okay, and you can live somewhere in between. You don't have to be either or. But I'm just saying that you are the anti. What I'm saying is that we have the capabilities to make this place hell on earth or heaven on earth. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. And I really hope if this is not making sense to you, please do let me know in the comments. I would love to try to explain this in a different way if this is not making sense for anyone. I think it's making sense. Let me give you an example to help this make a little bit more sense. Have you seen Santa Claus 3? I think it's the third one, when they're like all grouped together, like the fairy chick and the Sandman, and I think maybe Jack Frost is in there and Santa Claus. And I believe people are starting to stop believing in Santa Claus. And yes, I'm quoting a fictional movie for this example. People stop believing in Santa Claus. They start to stop believing him, and like his powers are dwindling or something because of that, right? And it's because of the power of belief. Now, that might be a fictional movie, but that concept is not fictional. Our beliefs truly do create our realities. Why? Because we are all, um, like I said, back to the finger puppets, we're all God consciousness. God consciousness created this plane of existence. Therefore, we all have that power of creation within us. That's part of this earth, is to just create our realities, to forget we're God, and to come here, have some fun, relearn our power. Not everyone does, but relearn our power, and then you can also start having fun creating your reality again once you realize that you do have that kind of power. And that is why in the Santa Claus movie, that is one of the easiest ways that you can apply this to everyday life, is that what we believe in actually does have an effect. If we believe in the boogeyman and what is all those things, if we are believing in the boogeyman and feeding those stories, feeding the story that it's the end of the world, feeding stories that life's about to get really hard and really disturbing and really freaking wackadoodle, then we are growing those stories because we create the reality that we live in. If we retract our beliefs, however, if we pull back our power from all of those horrible stories, and we start to focus on creating beautiful realities, then we take our power back away from those stories. And you don't need the beautiful thing with belief is that you don't need to worry about the how of how everything works out, how it's all going to fall down, and how we're going to change back into heaven on earth, because that's God's work. We don't have to worry about the how part, but we do have to do some work. We have to do some internal work, self reflection, introspection, some meditation, some breath works to create heaven on earth again. So once we start taking our power back, then we can start focusing on what we want to grow and what we want the world to look like. And then we can start to see positive change. And we also don't need to feel powerless, like these horrible people are going to take over the world and there's nothing we can do about it. Isn't that cool? Isn't that so empowering that we actually are very powerful? I love to make this face when I say something cool and revolutionary. Okay. So, the biggest conspiracy theory of all is that you are powerless. That's a conspiracy theory. That's the one that they are pushing out there and that many, many people are believing right now. And that there's some kind of boogeyman enemy out there. We created the boogeyman. We could unalive the boogeyman with the power of belief and manifestation. Do not be afraid, for I am the Lord your God. That's what they say, right? There is no reason to be afraid. There was one day when I realized the power of belief. I had this day of samsara, just everything was perfect and no fears. And it's been a work in progress to get back to that point. It was a day of bliss, and the next day crashed hard back into limiting beliefs that your girl got to work on. However, it is possible to get to that point, and I have come a long way since then. But it is really beautiful and powerful when you realize that there is nothing to fear because you are literally God. You are literally creating this reality, and there is nothing to fear because of that. Fear is for the Antichrist. Love and trust is for the Christ. I'm not Christian, by the way, but it's a very easy template to fit it into that people will understand. If you are like into this, if you are digging this, and this is something you want to be proactive on, which you should be, because unless you want to live in hell, I mean, have fun. I ain't going there. Anyways, then I do have one resource at the moment for you. I will have more in the future. I have one resource. It's called Manifest Anything. The really cool thing about this resource is it can be used for anything. That's why it's called Manifest Anything. Money, work, people, family, all your dreams and desires. On top of that, it can also be used for creating a better world, creating heaven on earth, manifesting heaven on earth. So if this is something that you want to start being proactive on, then that breathwork will work for you. I do owe a breathwork to my mamas about calling in community, so I got to record that one first, and then I also at some point will be recording a guided breathwork meditation on creating a better world, calling in heaven on earth. So, but for now, if that video isn't up yet, go ahead and use Manifest Anything and go ahead and start creating a better world, your own personal reality, the one that you're seeing outside. Stop looking at horrible stories on social media. Stop looking at the news. Stop talking to your friends about the apple juice, if you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. All of those things, okay? It's not helping anyone. I'm getting mean. I'm getting mean. But it's not. It's not helping anything. It's truly not. It's actually feeding the egregores or whatever they're called, right? Egregores, I think. I do realize, and I want to say it to you as well, that this shift is not always super easy. But with work and dedication and time, you will start to see exactly just how heaven on earth is possible. And with some of the breathwork meditation, you will start to see results of and just like synchronicities, little magic things happening that is undeniable and that will build your belief even more about how you are creating your own reality and how we are collectively creating this world that we're living in. That is the conspiracy theory of all conspiracy theories. Okay, top that. All right, bye guys. I'll see you next time.